guy. If you want to look him up, he's also on Cosmic Disclosure. He was part of the hybrid programs in Groom Lake. Groom Lake is actually the real base that you want to look at. If you're looking at Area 51 or any UFO junkyards, look over the mountain, you'll find a place called Groom Lake. They actually hold hybrid animals and extraterrestrials here, friendly and non-friendly. So let me show you a picture of this hybrid. So this is a hybrid animal. Let me show you. What's really cool is this animal right here was actually escaped near Groom Lake, and it was reported and actually caught by a police officer. Believe it or not, they caught him in a cage. If you can see, his knees are bent backwards. It has gills that come out of his cheeks. His eyes are actually very, very, very advanced. 2 fingers, 3 web feet. The cape that you see that's actually draped behind his head. When they found him, when he was actually really scared, he covered his whole body in that cape and sort of tried to camouflage himself and started making like these beep, beep, beep noises. Richard Grady will actually tell you the whole story. So, and if you can see in his pockets over here, these little pockets that pop out of his sides right here, what pops out of there are these little balls of protein. It's actually his food. So this animal, among other beings that they have found, actually produce their own food, so they don't even have to go hunting or foraging or anything like that. They actually inhale gases and oxygens, and certain proteins are actually made inside of its body and popped out of these holes. They actually grab these balls and eat them. So that's what those balls are. Richard Grady also said that the texture of their skin was very reptilian-y. It did not have any telepathic abilities. They were not hostile. It was actually a very easy capture for them, so he says. They come from a planet that is near Sirius A. As you know, there's a Sirius A and a Sirius B. And yeah, that's one of the creatures that they found. Any questions about this so far? Ask anything. Be rude. Don't be dirty, and hire your clearance with more information of what's actually really going down. So if Richard Garrity would probably know about the 5 beings, which would probably be the reptilians, the grays, the Nordics, which are the tall whites with the blonde hair, and then there's another kind of grays that are called the EBELs. The EBELs are the ones that crashed in Roswell. EBEL 1 and EBEL 2. But there's a vast array of many more extraterrestrials outside of the Earth Alliance that that they're actually talking about in the news, called the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation covers many different other solar systems and many other different galaxies. One of the most neighboring galaxies that's close to us is the Andromedan Galaxy. If you want to look up the Andromedan Galaxy, that is 500,000 light years away. But they have the, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were asking a question. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to look up Corey Good, Corey Good has lots of really, if you're in the UFO community, you can understand that the abductees and contactees, they're specified per race. So you won't have like one person that is abducted by reptilians and a Nordic. Usually it's only just by one race. So you have a guy named Alex Collier. His last name is Collier. He's an actual contactee of the Andromedan Galaxy. If you have Corey Good is actually a contactee of what you call the avians. Avians are these bird-like creatures. They're actually blue feathered with a long beak. Some say, if you ever read the book of Thoth, Thoth, who is an Egyptian god, the Law of One, he wrote that book. That is actually what people think Thoth is, from that race. If you look at Egyptian hieroglyphics, you will also see humanoid with beaks and bird heads, just like the blue avians. Corey Good is also in contact with the Galactic Orb Alliance. So Galactic Orb Alliance is actually all the UFOs that you're seeing in the sky right now. As you can see, the UFO videos that you see on Facebook and YouTube aren't actual crafts. They look like just spherical light beings, and that's exactly what these things are. They're alive. They're bioships. They're not actual. Well, they are actual crafts, but they are connected and linked to the biofeedback of the person that's driving them. Another reason why they appear white is because you cannot, with the human eyes, you cannot see the higher frequencies of light that are emanating from the ship. We can only see 0.07% of visible light with your human eyes, and that's broken down into the rainbow spectrum. So everything that you see that you in your 3D reality is actually made up of that spectrum. But there's many more levels. There's the radioactive level, there's the X-ray level, there's the gamma level. All those things you cannot see. So that's just something to think about as far as why we cannot see things in the sky, is because basically your eyes cannot perceive them. But of course, there is cloaking technology that does exist as far as your suits, and there's cloaking technology for ships that is old technology. If you understand how the way that we're getting technology right now, of the boost of technology, is actually being given to us. We're trading and re-engineering extraterrestrial technology, but it's not like they give us technology and they say, hey, here's how it works. They'll actually give it to us a long time ago, and it takes us 10 or 20 years to figure out how it works. And then we can actually use it and give it to the public. So a lot of these technologies have existed for a very long time. Go ahead, June.
No.
Oh, okay. A lot of these, sure. Okay. I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people get them confused. So a lot of Nordics and humanoids are a lot bigger than us. So you imagine our average height is around 5 to 6 feet. Nordics are around 8 to 9 feet. So if a humanoid would see them, obviously they would, call them giants. But there are actually real giants who actually inherited the earth way before us. So if you YouTube giant skeletons or giant findings, the first people on this planet Earth, when it was inhabitable, were actually reptilian humanoids, right? And giants, like absolute giants. I'm talking about giants that are 20 to 30 feet. These people were the keepers of the knowledge of Earth and information that's held in water. So before any life existed, you can imagine water on Earth was used as a USB card. So there's actually a lot of information that's stored in our water, and why it's so important, and not of our only our Earth history, but extraterrestrial history too. When they've come down here to on Earth to inhabitate or to build their civilizations, they store their information in water. And one of the other keepers of this information of water were whales. So if you understand the song, or if you ever heard of the Song of the Whale, the Song of the Whale is a song that the mother whale sings to the baby throughout its whole life. The beginning of the song starts when the first whale actually got to Earth, and then that whale will sing that song and then live its life with its baby. The baby will start the song from when its mother started and carry it along till the end of its life, and so on. So all the whales that are actually singing the whale song are actually singing the whole history of the Earth and when its inhabitants and how it's formed and everything else like that. So dolphins and whales were the first inhabitants, one of the first intelligent inhabitants to inherit, the Earth. Giants were the holders of information, as well as on the land, and as far as history of the forming of the because Earth is not really land planet. It's a water planet. If you look at it from space, from the Pacific Ocean, all you see is water. So giants held information on land, whales had information in the water, and then you have the reptilians. Reptilian humanoids were the building founders of consciousness. So they built survival instincts. So reptilians, everything about our reptilian sides is based off survival instincts. So in the history books that I've seen, this guy named Mateus, hey, how you doing? This guy named Mateus is actually from, he has a show called Initiation, and he talks about Earth history and the beginning of Atlantis, the beginning of Lemuria. And he mentions that the reptilians were actually the bringers of knowledge of survival and taught it to the women. So women carried on the knowledge of surviving and carried that on to, its children. Obviously, it was never a patriarchy. That's a new thing. It's in other worlds up there, women rule because they have the ability to give birth in life. But our planet is dual sex. There's a bunch of aliens up there that are asexual. You know what I mean? There is no male or female. Just like reptilians actually hold themselves higher because they don't have duality. They're actually just one sex, and that mindset keeps them thinking that they're higher above any other race out there. The reptilians are the ones that are. Reptilians are the ones you. How do I put this back? Yeah. So yeah, reptilians are the ones you want to watch out for. Reptilians and Nordics are very hostile. So what I've heard. Yeah.
Who's reptilian?
Yeah, you know what? Me too. I've met reptilians that are not hostile, and I think it goes for everybody. I don't think all of them are. I'm sorry?
Are they aliens, reptilians?
Reptilians are actually here before us. So actually we would be the aliens. But the first beings on here
them?
during
Can you
Running Man has met one.
How can I meet them?
Huh?
Whoa, I didn't know that. Is that a reptilian?
This one is no, this is another being. It's called, when it escaped, the police officer actually found it and put it in a cage. When they found it, you see the cape that's right behind its head, it actually covered its whole body in that as a defense mechanism. So it wasn't, I have many.
Whoa, I'm impressed. I didn't know they were already here before us.
Yes, the reptilians were. That's actually why they have this thing against us. No. Yeah. So what happens with the dinosaurs is whatever beings are most prevalent on the planet will have control of the other animals. So at the time when there were reptilians everywhere, of course the other animals would be reptilian, like dinosaurs. So right now you have mammals that are most prevalent on the surface. So most of our animals are mammals. We have elephants and giraffes and horses and stuff like that.
And us.
So it changes because it influences in
right?
time. I'm sorry?
Okay.
Actually, you guys are a perfect match of both. You guys are hybrids. You guys are mammalians and reptilians at the same time. So if you look at your skin, you have scales, but you also have hair. If you look at your brain, you have left and right side, but guess what? In the back of your brain, you have a reptilian cortex. You also have a reptilian respiratory system.
What are you? Why did you refer us?
I'm human in this reality. I'm human right now. Yeah, I'm like you guys. I'm occupying a Homo sapien body.
Okay.
Yeah, same body.
What is consciousness?
I'm sorry?
Get me up to speed on this one. You're a reptilian?
So what they were asking was, are we mammals or are we, what are we? And I said we are actually hybrids. We're both mammalian and reptilian. And if you look at your skin, you have scales and you also have hair.
And
If
we
you look
have
at your
our sexual organs,
Checks
right?
out.
You have a penis and a vagina.
exactly,
Yeah.
that's very good. Yes. Yes, that's actually very true.
So
And if you know
that guy
what, if
over
you look
there-
at the stages,
Yeah.
the human being is actually made up of many different animals, and you can see this when you're an embryo. Your embryo actually goes through the stages of the species that are mixed into you. So if
Really?
you look at your embryo, you start off as a reptile, and then you start to
Whoa.
move into
Oh,
a
yeah, we have a
fish,
tail.
and then you start to move
Yeah.
into a. You know what I mean? You're actually going through all the species that were morphed into you. The human beings on this earth are actually made of like 23 different alien species.
Are
Holy
apes
shit. Oh, yeah, you're
reptilian
also a pig.
also?
I'm sorry?
Are apes reptilian also?
Apes
They're mammals.
apes are their own
And mammals.
their own genre. They
are mammals, come on.
but humans are actually
How about this
Hello,
alien? Why
Sam.
does aliens doesn't have like penis
Wait,
and vagina?
wait.
Like, how do you reproduce?
there's actually it really does depend. We have sexual organs, but there are aliens out there that do not have sexual organs,
They put
and there
eggs?
are some that are asexual as well. For instance, there's an alien that they found called the EBEL. I mentioned this in Roswell.
Evil.
They actually have 3 uteruses and only give birth
Whoa.
once. They only give birth once, and when they give birth, it's like
Uteri.
7. I'm sorry.
So,
Uteri.
so,
Uteri.
So-
That's right.
so that means why would they have 3 uterus? Like the theory of evolution from Darwin would now put it that
Yeah,
way, right?
it's really weird. I couldn't really answer that, but in my opinion, I would think it's the culture. So you would think like our culture, we can have children whenever we want. I'm thinking that when they have children, it's a whole ceremonial thing because they have 3 uteri and they can have multiple children. But once they have children, a few weeks
Do
later,
they
they
have
die.
pleasure? Do they have pleasure in having
You know
sex?
what? I heard from there's this guy. His name is Richard. His name is Richard Kramer. He's like a hybrid space soldier, and he had a relationship with actually another humanoid terrestrial, and actually had children with them. And he says that sexual attention and sexual relationships, yes, they can hybrid, but a lot of them find pleasure in just banging their sexual parts together. So yes, pleasure is
Oh, nice.
found up there. Yeah,
Like
and
the
he
whole
says
thing-
most humanoid people. So if you understand humanoids, where you have
Yeah.
2 legs to walk on and 2
that's the
arms and a
humanoid
head.
right there.
Sure. So I'm sorry, I lost my thought. What were you saying, Dr.
Talk about
Garbage?
sex. We talk about sex and aliens.
Yes. So he says most humanoid forms are compatible to bang
What?
sexual parts together. Mm-hmm.
No, that's
And there's
an
many.
interesting story because do they have like a sense of religion?
Sense of, I'm sorry?
Religion. Do they believe in
Religion. You know what I've heard is sense of religion. When you find your unity with your community, the sense of religion, you look at it as an old phase. So the sense of religion is actually just, it's an old idea, and what the real religion is sense of self. And that goes not just from here. I'm sorry?
What are your sources? I don't know your background.
Oh, sources. Well,
what?
I don't know what that
Like,
means.
I'm curious where this knowledge you're saying is coming from.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me just clarify that.
From
All
movies.
information all the information that I'm giving you, you don't have to take as truth. I'm just a
No, I'm
person
new
on this
here
planet
too,
sharing
so I don't know what
information.
it's all
But I just want to make that clear so no one thinks that I have Messiah complex and is just sharing,
No,
information to
it's
look
a
cool.
hypothesis.
I just want to clarify that. So a lot of this information comes from I'm a part of the UFO community. I go to conventions like Contact in the Desert. I go to Gaia. I'm part of the Gaia community in the Venus Project. This information back behind me is from a man named Richard Grady, and he is a retired MyLab official. MyLab is UFO research and extraterrestrial research in Groom Lake.
Oh yeah,
and
it's a
he's
think tank.
yeah, it's actually a think tank. Yep.
They're based in Washington. I know them.
I'm sorry?
They're based out of Washington. I know them.
Groom Lake
Yeah,
or MyLab?
MyLab.
Yes, there's MyLab in Montauk, and there's a MyLab in Jersey City, and there is one in Washington. That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, milkshake.
Have you ever done any psychedelic drugs?
Oh, all the time. That's actually the best way to connect with them. The best
really?
way to connect with them, if
I've
you're
done
in
DMT.
like a DMT especially, yes, DMT is a great way to connect with extra dimensional beings and the pockets that you see on the side of its pockets, it actually creates its own food from the proteins and air and gases that it's surrounded by. Creates
That's where
these
they
pockets
reproduce.
of food and eats these balls of food.
So it's like
Sure.
this
How
case.
many
This case.
uteruses we talking?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to point to. Go ahead. Yeah.
How many
Yeah,
uses?
so I kind of like I phased in and out of what's going
Yeah, it's
on.
like a stat. Every time you cover a new
Yeah.
alien, like, all right, uterus count.
You believe
You gotta cover hair, green,
You gotta have-
uterus
you
count.
gotta have at least
4.
3.
All right, keep going. Yeah. Limbs 4.
Oh, these are real.
uterus 2.
These are real.
the thing behind you, the illustration behind you.
Yes.
Theorized. Fair enough.
Yes, there's actually this is one of the 5 aliens that we are actually close contact with. There's actually 4 other ones. One of them looks kind of reptilian-y. The other 2, which is an EBEL. EBEL is the one that crashed in Roswell. Is the most common UFO alien form, and the other one is a Nordic. Nordic aliens actually are very tall. They have blonde hair. 8 feet tall, usually silver suits, and I heard are very hostile.
Like what do you mean?
Like, Connor?
Get mad at
Talk
you?
to me more about talk to me more about them. Talk to me about how you feel that we know what they are, what the evidence is. In the least,
I
don't know. I just want to know. I just want to know. I mean, I used to be really into aliens as a kid.
I wanna do
and,
DMT.
I'm a skeptic, obviously. But I used to.
Dude,
I used
buy-
to be
get
really
some
into it,
DMT.
so I'd be more interested to know what sort of things that you believe your facts are.
Get some DMT then.
I'm interested.
I
I've
got
never
kicked
seen
out.
this
I thought I got
specific
kicked out for a second.
anything like this.
Why
So
there's a
you're saying
baby
it's
crying
live.
in the
I'd
background?
love to know more.
Is that only me?
He just took his.
So what's happening right now is called the disclosure. So there's actually going to be a lot of military officials that are coming out of retirement that are no longer, usually when they go into military, they sign a 25-year contract. So for them to keep their mouth shut for 25 years, well, it's been so long that the 25 years is over. So there's many military officials. You can go on an app called Gaia, which is GAIA app, and you can watch a show called The Cosmic Disclosure, which is an amazing show with many military officials and actually abductees. There's actually many alien abductees that are interviewed as well on this show.
So what defines you?
And they're like, you know what? Let's make a new slave race, which is half mammalian, half reptilian, right? And this slave race is what the bodies that we occupy right now. So it's a slave race.
So like another
with-
thing, if aliens exist, why we haven't all of us contacted them? Let me ask a question to the audience. Have anyone met an alien here? Raise your hand.
Not yet.
You see?
There you go. Not yet.
Where?
You know what? The reason why, there's many reasons why. The reason why is that a lot of people are not at the right consciousness. So if an alien were to contact them, they'd go right into Messiah complex, and they go thinking that they were too special or the chosen one. That's just the mentality that everyone is still at right now. It's very ego-filled. You would not go out and try and spread knowledge. You would actually try and tell people that you're much better than them because the aliens have contacted you. That's one reason. Another
So what would
reason
happen
why
to the general population, yeah, if we met an alien? Would we accept it,
it
or
would go
would you
crazy.
reject it?
No. That's another reason why they haven't showed up yet. You guys are just not ready for it. No, none of you guys are ready for it. If an alien were to show up in Los Angeles right now, every single person would panic. You would not greet them normally.
You would buy a lot of
would
TP
not be
for
as
sure.
calm as you are right now. You would actually freak out. So the best way
Buy a lot
to
of
try and
toilet
buffer
paper.
that is to, get more information. Get more information about aliens. Get more information about space, so you're more comfortable with about them when
you're
they
prepping.
come.
You're prepping the land.
Prepping. So this whole time is a prep period. What we're doing right now, this is prep period. So you want to gather as much information and understanding so that when it does happen, you're all good.
So we can
And
start
another
to
thing
convince
too that I
ourselves.
want
Yeah,
to exactly. Another thing I want to mention too is all of our beliefs are going to be different. So when it comes to this subject, it's all about what you believe and what you feel is right. You're not going to feel the same way
we
as
never
Sam
know.
Flowers. You're not going to feel the same way as Onion Man on a lot of subjects.
Yeah.
But what's most important is that you feel comfortable with what you truly believe. Yeah. I want to thank you guys so much for coming. Again,
you
I'm
very
going to come
much.
back on Thursday. I will